When you say the words cheating and cycling, the first thing that comes to mind obviously is doping, right? People think of doping. I mean, that's the way to cheat at cycling. But I think what sometimes gets missed is that there's other ways to cheat. There's other ways to cheat, and there's other ways to be cheated. So I wanted to tell this story. I always think of this story when I'm thinking about kind of whether racing is unfair or fair. And this happened when I was racing in the Tour of Cuba. I knew we had done, before the race started, it was a 15-stage race. But before the actual Tour of Cuba started, we were down there and we did a couple other stage races. And we did this climb in one of these races that was just unbelievable. I mean, I don't know what the grade was, but we were doing like 3 or 4 miles an hour for like a good hour. It was really steep. And we were going to do that stage again in the Tour of Cuba. So I kind of braced for it. I was a decent climber at the time, and I knew that this was going to be like a day where I could really make an effort and maybe move myself up in the standings. And it was maybe 10 days into the race. So I spent the first 9 days just staying protected, staying rested, trying to fuel myself really well and just prepare myself for that stage. And I got there, and I was there. I was ready on that day. I got to the front right before the climb, and right away I got into a good group. It was the Cuban national champion and Filippo Pizzato, didn't drop a name, was in that group. Mape was there, and it was solid. I mean, we were moving, and I had the right gears that day, and everything was going well. And I thought, this is the time I maybe could have moved up into the top 10. And as we got onto the steeper sections of the climb, there was a lot of fans, a lot of Cuban fans out there. And what they did is they started running out into the road and giving their Cuban riders a big push. And I don't know what I was wearing, but it looked red, white, and blue. It was clearly we were an American team. And the fans would come out and run with the rider for a few feet, give him a big push, and there'd be a gap. Maybe a couple bike links would open up every time they did that. And I would stand up and get out of the saddle and take a couple hard strokes and catch back up to them. And then we'd pass another group of spectators, and someone else would run out and give the rider a push, and I'd get out of the saddle and make a couple hard pedal strokes, and 3 or 4 times, and man, they just started pulling away, and I was just done, and that was it. That was the end of my day. I mean, I still got to the top of that climb with far ahead of the main pack, but there was enough of a distance that I couldn't catch up to that lead group, and eventually I got caught by a pack and by one of the gruppettos, and the day didn't go that well for me, and I think about that, and it's frustrating. I was pretty pissed at the time, but that's bike racing.